What's up, guys? It's your boy MMA Striker back with another episode of the Monday MMA News Series, and we have a lot of topics to talk about, so we're gonna get right into the video. And starting off by recapping Overeem versus Sakai, and this was a very good card, short card, 7 fights, but it was a very good one. Overeem TKO'd Sakai by round 5 TKO, and Sakai looked really good in the first 2 rounds. I had him winning the first 2 rounds, but the one mistake he made was every time he'll have Overeem backed up against the fence, he would initiate the clinch. And the longer the fight went on, Overeem picked that up, and he started using inside trips and takedowns to get Sakai to the ground and land brutal ground and pound. And that's what pretty much led to the finish. It was a good stoppage by Herb Dean. It wasn't too early, too late. And both guys looked good. Overeem came on strong. He looked good. His chin held up very well, just like it did in his last fight. And he's been looking very good recently. And who they should fight next, I'm going to save who Overeem should fight next to the end of the video because someone did ask me a question about that. So stay tuned to the end of the video for that. But for Augusto Sakai, I think he should fight Junior Dos Santos next. I feel like that'd be a very good fight for him. And moving on to the next topic, we have Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns for December 12th, and UFC 256 got announced last week. And this is the fight I've been looking forward to. And I posted on Twitter about a few days ago the top 5 fights. Actually, I posted on Saturday night. I said the top 5 fights I'm looking forward to this year, and I'll pretty much say the list real quick. Number 1 was Tony versus Dustin. Number 2 was Izzy versus Costa. Number 3 was Usman Burns. Number 4, Khabib Gaethje, and 5 was a tie between Cody and Figueiredo and Weili versus Rose. And I know Usman Burns over Khabib Gaethje sounds a little weird, but I'm not saying Khabib Gaethje doesn't get me excited, which it does a lot, but I don't know, for some reason this Usman Burns fight, it just gets me more intrigued for some reason. I don't know. I just feel like this fight's going to be more competitive than Khabib will. Now, I'm not saying Gaethje won't put up a good fight. I do think he would put up a good fight, but I do see Khabib winning the fight. And I just think Gilbert Burns versus Kamaru Usman is going to be a closer fight, if that makes more sense. And I'll give a quick breakdown about the fight in my early prediction. Striking wise, I think Gilbert Burns has the advantage by a slight margin. I think he's more polished striker. He has more clean strikes than Usman. In the clinch, I have Usman winning that. Usman has not much better, but he has a better clinch game. He's very strong in the clinch. He knows how to neutralize his opponents in the clinch. He's able to neutralize Jorge Masvidal in the clinch, RDA, Woodley, Maya. He was able to neutralize pretty much all his opponents in the clinch. He's very strong in the clinch, very hard to get off. On the ground, now Usman can take down Burns 100%, but I don't know if that's going to be the smart thing to do because Burns is so dangerous on the ground with his BJJ. So if I'm Usman, I will not take Burns down. I won't attempt it. If I'm Usman, I will try to make this fight a dirty boxing fight. Try to keep it in the clinch, wear on Burns, use uppercuts to the body, try to wear him down, slow him down, similar to how he did Jorge Masvidal. And I know if he does that, it's not going to be the most exciting fight or whatever. But you have to do that in order to stay the champion. You have to have that fight IQ. So if he does that, I will not be mad at him. I will be happy he does that because that would be the smartest thing to do. But my early prediction for the fight, I do have Gilbert Burns winning by decision. I think it'll be a close fight, a very close fight. But I do give Burns the edge over Usman. But I could be wrong. But I'm going to go with Burns in that fight. And the next topic we're going to talk about is Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz potentially happening in January for UFC 257. Now, it's not signed yet. It's not confirmed. It was not a rumor, but Brett Okamoto and Ariel Helwani said that is the plan for January, the rematch. Now, I know a lot of people aren't happy with this fight. They don't want to see it. And for me personally, I'd rather see Masvidal versus Leon Edwards. But it is what it is. This fight's going to happen. I think Leon versus Wonderboy is going to happen in November, which we're going to talk about that after this. But Masvidal Diaz, how I see it playing out, I see Jorge winning the same pretty much. I see it being a one-sided beatdown. I see this fight going to decision though. I don't see it getting stopped. I mean, it could get stopped by TKO, but I see Nate surviving. I see it going to a decision, but I do think Jorge is going to dominate this fight once again. And I see Jorge probably getting like a 50-45 or 49-46. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. But I'm still going to watch it. I'm still going to get excited for it because it's going to be a good fight to watch. And speaking about that, let's move on to Leon Edwards versus Wonderboy, potentially happening in November. And I think it's going to be a fight night main event, which that's going to be a great fight. I can't wait for that fight. I'm still on the fence of who I'm going to pick for this fight. It just depends how Wonderboy fights, in my opinion. If Wonderboy is the one hanging back and trying to counter, I kind of give him the edge over Leon Edwards. But if Wonderboy is going to be the one leading the dance and the one pressuring, I do see Leon Edwards winning this fight and potentially getting a TKO. Because Wonderboy, when he's coming forward, he doesn't really do that well. He gets hit a lot. Even in his last fight versus Vicente Luque, he got hit a lot. Even though he did win that fight, he got hit a lot in that fight when he was the one pressuring. When he fought Pettis, he was the one pressuring. He got knocked out. If you go back and look at the knockout, he was the one pressuring Pettis and leading the fight. He got knocked out. In the Darren Till fight, he got dropped in that 5th round. He was the one coming at Darren Till, leading the fight, leading the pressure, and he got dropped. So it just depends how Wonderboy fights, in my opinion. So, but if I had to make a prediction, I will go with Leon Edwards by a decision. But that fight is a very close fight. I can't wait for it. And I just want to say this about this fight: for all the people who don't like slow chess match fights or strategic fights, if y'all fans out there, I know there's fans out there who don't like, chess matches or strategic fights or slow pace fights. This fight isn't going to be the fight for you. Just heads up, because I already know if this fight plays out to be a chess match, people are going to complain about it and call it boring and all that. So if you guys out there who only like wars and bloodbaths and all that, this fight isn't going to be the one for you. But I love this fight a lot. I can't wait for it. So can't wait to see what happens. And moving on to the next topic, we have, this pretty much happened last night. Ariel Helwani tweeted about Nick Diaz potentially coming back and fighting early 2021. He posted a picture or a video of Nick Diaz. He said he was on a 14-week diet and training regimen, and he did a test weight cut. And he said he's around 165 to 175 right now. So if he does come back, he will be a welterweight. And man, I hope he comes back this time. Man, I really can't wait for that to happen. The newer fans of MMA, they don't really realize how good Nick Diaz was in his prime, or they never really got a chance to watch him fight. And any of the newer MMA fans out there, if you guys like fans who became people who became fans of MMA around 2016, 17, or 18, I really advise you guys to go back and watch Nick Diaz's fights, especially in his prime. The man was a championship quality fighter in his prime, and I really hope, even if he does come back and fight now, and he might not look the same. If he doesn't look the same, people are going to say he was not as good as people hype him up to be. But people who are around when he was in his prime or he was fighting, they know how good Nick Diaz was. And so yeah, if you're a newer MMA fan, I advise you to go back and watch his fights in his prime. They were very good fights and very entertaining fights. And who he should fight if he does come back, I think Robbie Lawler will make a lot of sense. Robbie Lawler, Cowboy, or Pettis, those are the 3 fights, in my opinion, that would make the most sense. And I can't wait. I hope he comes back. I really can't wait for that to happen. But we will see. We will see. And moving on to the next topic, I want to kind of briefly talk about the next fight night card. Now, it was supposed to be Thiago Santos versus Glover Teixeira, but Glover Teixeira did test positive for COVID, so that fight is moved to October 3rd. And the new main event is Michelle Waterson versus Angela Hill. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the main event. It's not the most exciting, but personally, I like this fight a lot. They both have very good striking styles. I like Michelle Waterson's style. I know her last fight was kind of lackluster or kind of boring, but that's just one fight. I'm not going to judge her whole career over one fight, but I like her footwork and her stance, her karate style stance. And I love her kicks. She has very good kicks. And Angela Hill has a very good striking style as well. And it's going to be a very good fight. I'm not going to break the fight down too much yet because I'm going to save that for the prediction video. But early prediction, I'm going to lean Angela Hill by decision, but I'll go more into depth about that fight for the prediction video. And that's it for the topics. Now we do have one question from a fellow YouTuber, Justin Dempsey Jr., Justin Jr. 962. You guys are pretty familiar with him by now. But his question is, he said, what do you think is next for Overeem after his win? In my opinion, the winner of Blaze Lewis or maybe even Rosenstruck rematch. Shout out to Justin Jr. once again. Thank you for the question. And for Overeem, I think the Rosenstruck rematch is the next fight to make, because, well, it depends on when Overeem wants to fight. If he wants to fight early next year, like January or February, I think Jairzinho is the fight to make because everyone else is booked pretty much. Blades, Lewis are booked. Volkov and Walt Harris are booked, so everybody else is pretty much booked. But if he wants to wait till like the spring of next year to fight, if he wants to take some time off, then Lewis versus Blaze winner, that would work perfectly. But if I had to pick one, I'll pick Jairzinho. But that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Make sure to comment down below your thoughts on everything that's happened this past week. And make sure to comment down below and subscribe if you like this type of content. And the next video is going to be an updated GOAT list video. I know I did a video about that about 2 months ago, but my list has changed so much since then. So I'm going to make an updated version of it, and that will be out probably tomorrow or Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, hope you guys have a good Labor Day. Enjoy your day. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.